Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. We're going to be working from this reference picture of Kulthum, who is an amazing singer who I was just introduced to by Darren Malakian a couple of days ago by the Tetragrammaton podcast. And let's just get into it. We're a bit later today. I said we were going to start at 9, but I'm home alone with the kids. And it took half an hour longer to get them to bed. So Charlotta Hamilton is here, who was recently in Mexico. And we just recently did 2 portraits of Frida Kahlo. And I wonder how your time in Mexico was, Charlotta. Ingrid is here. Hello. Dale. Hello. Rachel. I'm looking forward to drawing today too. So we're focusing on shadow shapes. I have headphones on because we were talking yesterday about how it'd be so cool to have a playlist to draw from. Hello, Tommy. Hello, Ed. And I have put on music of Kulthum. Singing has just started. And it's amazing. It's amazing. So she's an Egyptian singer who passed away in 75. And I just read today had 4 million people in attendance at her funeral, which is incredible because that's just so many people. So she was called the Voice of Egypt and such an incredible singer. And I'm really enjoying listening to it. And it was, I'll just have a look. We'll come over here. Yesterday, we drew Darren Malakian from System of a Down, who had said that when his mother was pregnant with him, that she was be singing the songs of Kulthum. And that led me to listening to her music, and I love it. It's amazing. So let's draw together. The focus is shadow shapes. Nicole, Kiki, hello. Everyone who is here, whether you're watching live or watching the replay, say hello in the chat or the comments. It's always nice to hear from you. And if you're aware of the incredible soundscape and music of our muse today, then let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have a favorite recording, because I've heard that some of the live recordings are really incredible, where there's a lot of music even before it gets to the singing. It's just like so much sound. It's so good. So I'm going to put a 10-minute timer on. We'll see how we go, and focusing on shadow shapes. And I really love that there is this flash photography. The flash is coming from over there somewhere, like above and off to the right. I've actually mirrored the reference for this so that she's looking over towards Darren. And it's really cool how the shadow in the background is really defining the edge of her face. So cool. Let's draw. What's everyone drawing with today? Who are your favorite Egyptian musicians? I'd love to know. Please expand my horizons. I wish that Abir was here. If you're watching the replay, Abir, I'm really inspired by the stuff from Egypt that you share in your stories on Instagram. What an amazing place. How is everyone? What have you been up to? What are you doing? Hola, Luis. Welcome to the fun. So this is really cool. Just noticing that the eyes are actually, they're entirely like within the shadow, the glasses. There's a little, what is this? A little razzle dazzle on the edge of the frames, but even the white of the eyes, you can see it also clearly, but it's within the shadow shape. So this month we're focusing on shadow shapes as a guide, a help, a drawing aid. That as we focus on each of the shapes and the way they relate to each other, that they help us find our way around our subject. Shadow shapes are just so helpful, so cool. And I loved this shape, which I'm gonna double line it. because there's such a soft transition in the background, the way the shadow is hitting the wall. So I'm just gonna kind of imply that softness with that double line. And how are we? Could get a bit closer to this, right? Oh, Nicole is using an orange parallel pen. What size is the orange one? So the green one with the green lid is 3.8 millimeters. Oh, hi Gabriela. Lewis suggests a flamenco jazz musician called Jorge Pardo. Cool. I'll put his name on the list. And if you want to, Lewis, you could also put, if you have a great photo of Jorge, you could put it in the reference sharing chat. People have recently shared a couple of references, not of themselves, which is also cool, like the Kafka reference that has been put in there. I'm really keen to have other people sharing inspiration and suggestions, because I'm always looking for people to draw. Somehow always find people to draw. And I thought this was really interesting, going from a musician whose music has meant so much to me, Darren Malakian, and to hear him talking about his in utero experience of being sung to by his mother, who would sing the songs of Kulthum. So that was just so cool. Oh, this is like a tricky smile. It's like it's a smile, but this pressed lip, the downturned corner of the mouth, is it a smile? My mind doesn't look like a smile, but I feel like it is, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's not. Maybe she's not smiling. Is it possible to have the pressed and downturned corner of the mouth and make it look like a smile? Maybe she's not smiling, actually. Why should she be? I don't know. Maybe she is. What's going on? It's really cool to be listening to music while drawing. So we could listen to, oh cool, Tommy posted a playlist in the Inspiration channel earlier on the Discord server. So we're talking about the Discord server, by the way. Join it if you haven't already. It doesn't have to be Egyptian music. Right now is Egyptian music, but I look forward to hearing your playlist too. Like to listen to anything, anything moving, somehow, I don't know, I'm not getting the vibe of this photo through my drawing yet. We shall see if that's going to change. Do people know, is this a playlist that you made, Tommy? Hey, Daniel. Do people have like go-to playlists that have been curated by other people that they just like love and have to listen to all the time? I really liked and Drawn Together last month. Sabra telling us a little bit about her evergreen playlist circle that includes the Mortal Kombat music. I've had the honor of listening to some of it, and a lot of nostalgia in there for me. It was very interesting. Speaking of drawn together, this time next week, or daylight savings is happening this weekend in the States, but not in Germany. So 8 p.m. European time. It's a German time. I don't know, maybe it's different. Yeah, it's different places. Central European time, that's what they call it. 8 p.m. Central European time. America, the United States of it. I don't know about the other Americas, but the United States is shifting to daylight savings time on the weekend. I don't know if that's all across. Maybe there are even states that don't do it, but that's what I've been informed on. So the times will be a bit different. But if you go over to the Drawn Together YouTube channel, I just posted today next week's Drawn Together, and the Drawn Together, I've already mentioned it, who's joining, but on the Drawn Together Instagram, I put a "who's our next guest" question in my stories. I haven't checked it yet, but I wonder if you'll be able to guess from the crop of a painting that I shared. But we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be great. So this is interesting. I'm coming in pretty close to my 10 minutes, and so far I've got like the drawing part done mostly, which is pretty good. And then I'll go in and I'll fill. So thinking of shadow shapes, there's the hair, which is amazing. There's the glasses. There's some shadow here, and here. And then there's not a lot going on in the skin tones in terms of like really intense dark shapes. But just looking at the way that these shadow shapes are connected and interact with each other, it's all connected. This is connected to that, and there's just a couple of little bits within the face. Really interesting way to look at the reference. Stephanie, often draw to Miles Davis kind of blue and box cello concerto. Cool. Nice. Tommy made it some time ago, but you're updating it frequently. Great. Hair, hat, wig. Who knows? It looks like it's in place. That hair is certainly in place. I found a bunch of really cool reference photos of her performing and singing and just looking wonderful in front of the Sphinx. I was pretty tempted to grab a reference of her like profile in front of the Sphinx. That was really cool. Okay, so that was 10 minutes. And let's say that's the first phase. I will grab a work in progress shot. That's an interesting question. Ever try mirroring a portrait before showing it to the client? No, not unless I want to start again. Whenever I see my stuff mirrored, it's you think you put it all in the right place, and you look at it mirrored, and it's kind of like whoop, stretched out on one side, and there's something that kind of weird that happens sometimes. The way I'm drawing in my live stream setup, I'm not straight on, because I would be like this, and you wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. So my reference is over there or over there, and sometimes I'm not really in alignment, like not straight in front of my work surface. And sometimes I feel like I do strange things. So here's a water brush. And this is water-soluble ink, the Pelican Brilliant Black ink. So I'm going to take some of it that's here and just lightly do some midtones in the skin area, and then after that be able to go to the really darker shadows. So I'm hoping this is going to stay kind of light looking. The right lens is like much brighter, but it's still dark. It's still like shadowy, so that's really interesting. So I can just go like right over it with this. And this as well. I don't, when I have commissions, I don't give it to the people unless I'm happy with it. But yeah, using a mirror to check when things are not quite right, to be like, oh, look at that thing, which is like not really where it should be. Yeah, mirrors or taking photos, that's also, I find, really interesting and enlightening. That if you take a photo on your phone and then you look at it compressed into this tiny format, then sometimes things will stand out and be like, whoa. Yeah, really interesting. Here, because of the soft edge to the shadow, I'm just going to kind of do this a bit. That will kind of soften the edge depending on whatever I decide to put into it. It'll be kind of soft. What do people listen to when they're drawing and painting? I often listen to podcasts and audiobooks. And sometimes, depending on what's going on, I'll be listening to music. Yeah, it's interesting. Do you have particular podcasts that you like listening to? Or your go-to evergreen playlists? Or maybe just the same album that's been on repeat for decades? Tommy's wondering about the mirror because people are used to seeing themselves in the mirror. Probably not a good idea. This is I mirrored this reference because I wanted her looking over on my page, looking towards Darren. I thought that would be nice. I took a photo before, didn't I? Did I? So now I'm going to put in the really dark shadow shapes and see what comes of this. There are 22 of you here now. Who hasn't said hello yet? Please do. So it's interesting, some of the subtle things going on, like there's actually a bit of a rim highlight on the clothing, and so the shadow in the background is darker than the clothing. So there's all this, as we progress in the way that we're looking at value shapes and shadow shapes, we start to notice different things, which can be super interesting. And we're really paying attention, start noticing things that maybe we didn't notice before. And depending on how much depth you're going into and in your process, whether you're working with color and or you're rendering with a lot of kind of nuance in your values and stuff, then it can be really interesting to start noticing the subtlety in the various values, because it can be pretty amazing. It's like just stuff you can dissolve into, just the delight of the subtle play of light and dark. It's just so cool. Yeah, so I thought it was really interesting listening to Darren Malakian saying how this was the kind of music that he grew up with. What did he say? He didn't hear a lot of music, but his mum sung a lot when he was inside of her, a in the womb. But just the kind of, there's something that so like struck me and was just like so powerful and moving and compelling and interesting about System of a Down, was just like the world of different sounds that it brought to this genre of heavy, righteously angry music. And it's really, I found, just exploring, like having my ears kind of open to a world of music has just been such enriching part of my life over the years. And I like listening to all sorts of stuff. There's also stuff I don't like listening to. But I feel like there's quite a lot that I'll listen to and dig it. It's really interesting. The hair is so dark, but there's like really interesting shapes within the hair as well. That there are these, you can't really call them highlights because it's so dark, but they're really distinct value shapes. It's like this kind of, is it purple? Like there's this super dark, and then there's like also really dark, but more like has more chroma to it, kind of the purple hair. Little Corner. I'm listening to her songs right now. That's why I have headphones on. By the way, Kulthum is a great Egyptian singer. Have you ever listened to her songs? The first time, I may have heard her songs in the past, but the first time I consciously listened to her was 2 days ago. And Darren Malaki in a podcast from System of a Down, they was talking about her and that music being part of his cultural heritage, what he grew up with, and how it informed his music. Like he said, the System of a Down song Aerials wouldn't exist if it weren't for Kulthum, which I thought was very cool. Nice to like honor the inspiration and just that living power of the sound and music. I had a really interesting comment. I read all of the comments. If you're watching the replay, please leave comments and I will probably answer. A really interesting comment from June saying, when I have a non-water soluble pen, how can I do hatching? Because it can just be so heavy-handed so quickly. And that is something I will address soon. Because there is a method of hatching that I really enjoy, which is just a pretty like stylized, simplified vertical hatching. But the way you apply the hatching so that it doesn't become too strong and overpowering and heavy is a really interesting thing to consider with ink. Little Corner, do you have any recommendations? Do you have any favorite tracks, recordings? I would love to know. Nicole's mom used to do her hair like this in the 70s. Barbara says, quite a challenge. Loving her shadows. Right, cool shadow shapes. So there's a lot more going on within this lens around the eye. Yeah, I forgot to put that second timer on, so now I'm just kind of going for it. It's been about 20 minutes now. We're going to wrap this up pretty soon. Kind of liking what's going on here. It was interesting, there was a moment where I was putting in like the lighter shadow shapes where I was like, nah, I don't know. But I knew that once I start filling in some of the darker shadows, that would really kind of anchor it. And I feel like that's the case. That the clarity of those really dark areas makes such a difference. I wish I could understand this music I'm listening to. But I also really enjoy not understanding lyrical content. Like there's something so immediate about the emotion that's conveyed when you're not aware of the lyrical content. That was interesting. I learned German. I live in Germany, and a friend of mine was like, "Oh, you should like watch movies and listen to music and stuff to learn," which was such a cool idea. Like using entertainment as a way to learn, and German music, particularly hip hop, because it's so lyrical and percussive and it really has like this power. It's like really driven by words. It sounded so it was just so unintelligible to me. And I was like, wow, all these different sounds and what is this? And it was amazing. And then I learned German, and I could understand what was going on, and it didn't have that kind of the immediacy that I had before, because then my head was busy trying to figure out what they're actually saying. But then I listened to some Turkish hip hop, and that was like, oh, this is like the feeling I got when I first listened to German music, of like not understanding and just feeling kind of the percussive and emotional power of the music. It's like it's amazing. And it's so cool. I really am enjoying listening to her right now as I'm working on this portrait. That's awesome. I think this will have to be a thing in future whenever we draw musicians, to be listening to the music. It's a very holistic experience. What's up, Shannon Hagen? Hello, so nice to see you in the chat. Hello, dear friend Shannon. We're drawing Kulthum, Shannon. That's what's up. Almost finished. The calligraphy pen is great to get the thick and thin lines. I found Elegant Writer felt tip calligraphy pens in various colours, fun to use. Elegant Writer. That sounds nice. Let's see if I can turn that into an elegant drawer pen. Yeah, that calligraphy pens are so cool. Hello, Beth. Beth enters the room late, but welcome. Everyone is welcome. But pretty late. Almost finished here. If you're just about to start drawing, I would recommend putting on some Kulthum music before you settle into drawing, so you can be your creative experience can have the soundtrack of her incredible voice and vibe. Yeah, I'm done with the portrait. I'm now getting lost in the floral decoration of this wonderful clothing. So I guess that means I'm done. Am I done? Nice to see you in the chat, Shannon. Nice to see all of you in the chat. Everyone say hello. If you haven't said hello yet, say hello. If you don't, I won't know. So it doesn't matter. But I would love you to. And if you've made it this far, please put your drawing hand emoji in the chat, or your drawing elegant writer hand in the chat, so I know that you've made it to the end and you earn a special place in my heart and I'm about to go to sleep, and I may dream of you and your drawing ad. I dreamt of live streaming last night. I've been working on this tutorial, my Patreon tutorial on Pure Line, and I did a live stream where I did 2 portraits, and I also worked on the same reference in my Patreon tutorial, and I was like, I don't know, occupied by it, which was interesting. And a couple nights back, I dreamt of my dear friend who builds hurdy-gurdies. Incredible instrument builder, incredible person. So I went to visit him, and I was like, I dreamt of you, and you had made this really amazing instrument, and it had all of these really unconventional things. And it's like, wow, that sounds cool. So how about that? How about dreams? Okay, I think there's a lot more detail and stuff here, but I think we're pretty much done. If you just joined, then watch the replay. Great thing about this is the replay is instantly available. The live chat is only available after it's processed for like 12 hours or something. But thank you, Kulthum, for your music. Thank you whoever took this photo. Thank you to Darren Malakian for talking to Rick Rubin about early musical influences. I feel enriched by listening to her music and her voice and all of the accompanying instruments and being accompanied by all of you. Drawing hands, thank you, Ingrid, Kiki, Lewis, Beth gives a thumbs up. Drawn together in 1 week, very exciting, very, very exciting. If you have a look on the Drawn Together Instagram account, or if you go over to the Drawn Together channel, you're going to see who it is anyway. And I've been talking about it the last few days. But it's going to be so good. So I'll just tell you who it is. Andrew Kadima is joining us again, and it's going to be super fun. So there's going to be a 1 hour live stream, and then there's going to be the after party. And if you want to join the after party with Andrew Kadima, which is destined to be wonderful, hilarious, very serious, it's going to be so good. Then become a Drawn Together VIP. There's a link to the Drawn Together channel in the description, I think. And on Patreon, you can become a VIP. So you can join the live stream, which is going to be amazing, for free. Everyone can come join. And if you'd like to join the after party, become a Drawn Together VIP. It's going to be so good. Shannon says, I may want to listen to the Young in Life podcast about dream telepathy. I do want to listen to that. Barbara is not sure how to get a drawing hand. If you go to the little smiling face in the chat, it says add emotes, and you search for, it's actually writing hand, but it's obviously a drawing hand, and it'll bring it up, and then you can put it in there. Beth, can't wait for the next Drawn Together. Thank you for your encouragement and support. Right draw and a hand appears, says Beth. Little Corner, her song. Oh, thank you. Here comes the recommendation. I got to write this down. Aghadan Alkak. I will meet you tomorrow. I will listen to that. Thank you for the recommendation, Little Corner. Cool. One of your all-time favourite songs. Her voice is pure magic, and the song is so touching. Thank you for that recommendation. I really look forward to spending some time listening. Thank you, Dale, for showing up, coming. It was tricky today because I'm alone with the kids, and I was like, I'm just gonna have to push this back half an hour, and it worked out, so that was good. It wouldn't have worked at 9 o'clock. Shannon, it is written that the after party will be amazing. That is a fact. That is factual. Thank you for just writing drawing hand. That also counts. It's indisputable. And oh, you're right. Look at that. There's the drawing hand. Thank you, everyone. Many thanks. Let's look at this spread together. I think this is cute. The way she's looking over there, looking at young Darren. Here we go. Look at this spread. Look at the two of them. She could be a little bit closer, but she's also a lifetime away. So that's okay like that. I like it. Thanks for being here. We'll be back here tomorrow, probably 9:30 and not 9 o'clock. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, everyone. You're also good. And keep the recommendations coming. I'll write down. If people say, hey, how about this person? How about this flamenco guitar player? How about this person? How about that? How about this music? Check out this playlist. I'm going to write this down and I'm going to absorb it. And maybe it's going to lead to the next person that we draw. And I love this idea of like a chain of events of like, wow, listen to this incredible music and that leads to this and that leads to that. And then we're just like drawing our way through all of this inspiration. That's very exciting. Welcome to the end. Watch the replay and have fun with it. Thank you, everyone. You're all so great. Sweet dreams.